Hi there. This video is intended to orient you to grief and loss. Grief and loss. If you're watching this video, then I'm sorry for that pain. Grief and loss is something that is disorienting, and my hope is that I can educate you on what may be happening to orient you to grief and loss so that that isn't an additional burden, the change that you're experiencing, say, in yourself or in the world. Grief starts with a yearning for something that we cannot have. It is attempting to touch or regard something which is no longer there. And the yearning then becomes a longing. An acknowledgement of an emptiness, and a break in expectation that when you look for the thing to be in the place that it usually is, that you can't have it. And then longing becomes grief. And it's a very destabilizing experience. And the experience of grief is the process that leads us from grief. If you imagine that your emotional life is like a rug with patterns in it, some are simple, some are a single thread moving through the rug, some are complex, elaborate patterns that make up this rug. And the rug sits on the floor in a predictable way. And pretend with me that this rug is representative of your emotional life. And everything being as it is, we don't really think about it. We take our emotional life for granted. There's ways that we feel in the world, and this tells us about ourselves and who we are, and also tells us about others and the world as it is, and what we can expect in the world. But if I were to take one thread in that rug and remove it, then the rug might bunch a little bit. Certainly the rug would look different, even minutely. And if that rug is my emotional landscape, then that even a minor disturbance or change is going to change how I experience the world that I am in. And as a result, it's going to change how I experience myself. And these changes take up our mind. They occupy our mind because our mind is now having to re-understand things that it understood before. Things don't feel the same in the world. Something is missing. And we feel differently inside of ourselves. And because this change occupies our mind, it means that our mind has less available to be occupied with other tasks, which historically might have been very simple tasks and required very little of our attention. But with this disturbance in our emotional landscape, then part of the mind is now occupied with that disturbance, and that's going to impact our ability to do work, to read, to remember, to recall. And then if you imagine that I remove a pattern from that rug, could be 20 or 30 different threads, and I pull them out of the rug, I remove them, and then they are lost, then the rug changes dramatically. The topography, the shape of the rug, it's no longer going to lay flat. It's going to have undulations in it. There's going to be eddies in the rug, and the rug will feel different. It will look different. The patterns will distort because the topography of the rug has changed. And at a grander scale, this utterly alters our emotional landscape. And so the world does not feel the same. In fact, you'll hear people in grief say that it feels like the world has gone crazy. They will note that they don't feel the same anymore. And this is a very disruptive feeling, because while we have lost something or someone or some place or some opportunity, what we have experienced is a change in our um, experience of the world and ourself. And this disturbance, this alteration is going to put demands on our mind and is going to occupy our mind. And as a result, our mind is going to be less available for other tasks. Often, when people are in grief, they have the experience of the world being different and not feeling like themselves. But they also notice that they start making thought errors. They can read a book and not know what they've read. They can watch a news program and have no idea what it is that they've watched. They can listen to people talk and not really be able to pay attention. They can find that their focus at work or with family and friends changes profoundly. And this is a very disruptive feeling. And this grief of looking for something which we cannot have um, is a process of becoming used to a new emotional landscape with this pattern no longer there, but the shadow of the pattern remains. The shadow of the pattern remains. We know what was there before, and we know that it is different now, and that the world is different, and that we experience ourselves differently. It's very disorienting. I can reassure you that if I were to parachute you into a wooded landscape, within a few hours you would probably name trees so that you would orient yourself to that landscape, and the same thing will happen as you grieve. The landscape that you're going to name is going to be places of pain, suffering, loss. And at no point am I commenting on the quality of the relationship with the person or object or place or opportunity which is gone. It's less relevant to this. But as you get used to this emotional landscape, which is different, and you are different, you are going to have a pile of thread that was a part of this pattern, this person, this place, this opportunity, which you cannot have now. And gradually, what you will do is you will take this thread and you will begin weaving it back into the rug with different interests, different opportunities, different places, different people. And the rug is going to be forever changed, but the thread will be used again, and it will create a new pattern, and you will normalize to a new landscape and a new experience of self. I hope this has been helpful.